Do you ever feel like there's a war going on inside your head? There's a logical part of you that knows exactly what you should do. But then there's another part, a much louder, more primal part, that hijacks the controls and pulls you back with a tidal wave of fear and anxiety. If you've ever gone through something traumatic and been told to just get over it, or let it go, but found it feels impossible, you are definitely not alone. And I want to tell you something important. This has nothing to do with willpower. It's not a character flaw, and it is not a sign of weakness. What you're experiencing is a real biological process. It's a profound response that has actually changed the way your brain is wired. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on the science of exactly how trauma rewires your brain. We'll explore why you feel the way you do, why simple decisions can feel like climbing a mountain, and most importantly, we'll talk about how you can consciously start to rewire those very same circuits for healing and peace. The invisible hijacking. First, let's get clear on what trauma really is. Trauma isn't just the bad thing that happened. It's the brain and body's response to an event that completely overwhelms your ability to cope. It's a biological reaction to something that shatters your sense of safety. And it's crucial to know that trauma is subjective. What's traumatic for one person might not be for another, and that's completely valid. It's not the event itself, but the impact it has on your nervous system. One of the most powerful things to understand is that your brain's reaction to trauma is a survival mechanism. It's a normal adaptive response to a completely abnormal situation. Think of your brain's threat detector as a super sensitive smoke alarm. Its only job is to protect you from fire. When it senses smoke, it blares, forcing you to pay attention and get to safety. It's a brilliant system. But here's what happens after trauma. That smoke alarm gets stuck in the on position. The fire is out, the danger is gone, but the alarm is still screaming 24/7. Your body is constantly flooded with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, keeping you on high alert. This is why you can't just get over it. Your brain isn't just remembering a bad memory. It's behaving as if the threat is still happening right now. This isn't a switch you can just flip off. It's a deep physiological state, a total hijacking of the very system designed to protect you. Meet your brain's security team. To really get why this happens, let's meet the 3 key players in your brain's security team, the parts most affected by trauma. First up, the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's emotional smoke detector. It's a tiny, almond-shaped part of your brain whose job is to scan for danger and sound the alarm. When it's healthy, it's a pretty balanced guard. But after trauma, the amygdala becomes hyperactive. It's like a jumpy security guard who starts seeing assassins in every shadow and hearing threats in every sudden noise. This is why people who've experienced trauma often feel constantly on edge or startle easily. That feeling of your heart pounding when a door slams. The wave of panic from a slight change in someone's tone. That's your overactive amygdala screaming danger even when you're perfectly safe. This state of hypervigilance is utterly exhausting. Next, we have the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. The PFC is the wise, rational captain of the ship. It's the part of your brain right behind your forehead, responsible for logical thinking, planning, impulse control, and making sense of our emotions. The PFC is the part that should be able to hear the amygdala's alarm, look at the situation and say, "Hey, thanks for the warning, but it's just a car backfiring. We're safe. You can stand down." It's the brake pedal for the fear response. But here's the critical problem. Trauma doesn't just turn up the amygdala's volume. It actively takes the prefrontal cortex offline. High stress levels basically cut the communication lines between the rational PFC and the emotional amygdala. So when you're triggered, the captain gets locked out of the control room. You're left with a screaming alarm and no one at the helm to calm things down. This is why you can't just think your way out of it in the heat of the moment. The very part of your brain you need for rational thought is temporarily out of service. Finally, let's talk about the hippocampus. The hippocampus is your brain's librarian. Its job is to take your experiences, give them a timestamp, and file them away as memories that happened in the past. It gives our life story context and order. Trauma throws a wrench in this whole system. The flood of stress hormones can damage the hippocampus. Some studies even show it can shrink. This means the librarian can't do its job right. Traumatic memories don't get filed away neatly on a shelf labeled "the past." Instead, they're left as fragmented, emotionally charged pages scattered all over the library floor. This is why a traumatic memory doesn't feel like other memories. When it gets triggered, your brain doesn't see it as something that happened. It feels like it is happening all over again. The sights, sounds, and feelings of the original event come rushing back. This is exactly what's happening during flashbacks, intrusive memories, and nightmares. You're being forced to relive it. So you've got an alarm that's always blaring, a captain who's locked out, and a librarian who can't tell today from yesterday. This isn't a failure of your character, it's a failure of brain integration caused by an overwhelming experience. How this hijacking shapes your life. This neurological hijacking doesn't just cause anxiety and flashbacks, it fundamentally changes how you move through the world and make decisions, from what to eat for lunch to who you should spend your life with. Let's start small. For a trauma survivor, choosing an outfit can be a battle because a certain color is a trigger. Deciding what to eat can feel paralyzing because you've lost touch with your body's signals for hunger. Answering an email can lead to hours of overthinking, all fueled by a deep-seated fear of being judged or getting it wrong. This isn't you being indecisive. It's your brain treating a simple choice like a life-or-death situation because the fear center is overactive and the rational center is underactive. Now let's scale that up. How can you decide to trust someone new when your brain is wired to see danger everywhere? How can you chase a career goal when trauma has installed a core belief that you're worthless or that you're doomed to fail? Often big decisions aren't based on what you actually want, but on what will help you avoid feeling that terrible anxiety. You might turn down a promotion because it involves public speaking. You might stay in an unhealthy relationship because being alone feels even more threatening. You might even sabotage your own success because, deep down, a part of your brain believes you don't deserve it. These aren't conscious choices, they're survival strategies playing out on the grand stage of your life. If any of this is starting to click, if you're seeing yourself in this science, please know that just understanding this is the first and most powerful step you can take. And if you want to keep learning about how our minds work and how we can heal, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to build a community here that gets it, a place where we can talk about this stuff openly, without shame. Rewiring the circuits, the path to healing. Hearing all this might feel a little bleak, like you're stuck with a broken brain. But I'm here to share the most hopeful message in all of neuroscience. Your brain is not permanently broken. The same ability that allowed your brain to be wired for survival can be used to rewire it for healing. This incredible ability of the brain to change and form new connections is called neuroplasticity. Think of it this way. Your traumatic experiences carved deep superhighways in your brain for fear and threat. Every time you get triggered, your brain automatically speeds down that highway. The goal of healing isn't to bulldoze that highway. The memory will likely always be there. The goal is to build new roads. We want to build quiet, peaceful country roads right next to the old ones. With practice, your brain will start to prefer these new, calmer routes. The trick is, we can't just start with logic and thinking, the top of the brain, because we know it goes offline. We have to start from the bottom up. That means we first need to calm the body and the primal parts of the brain, like the amygdala. We have to send direct signals of safety to our nervous system. One of the best ways to do this is with grounding techniques. When you're triggered, your mind is lost in the past. Grounding yanks your awareness back to the present moment. The 5-4-3-2-1 technique is perfect for this. Wherever you are, just pause and name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This simple exercise forces your brain to focus on what's happening right now, sending a direct message to your amygdala. Hey, in this moment, we are safe. Another powerhouse tool is conscious breathing. When we're scared, our breath gets short and fast. By deliberately slowing your breath down, especially making your exhales longer than your inhales, you activate something called the vagus nerve. This nerve is the main control switch for your body's rest and digest system. Taking a few slow, deep belly breaths is like manually flipping the switch from panic back to calm. It's a direct biological command to stand down. Practical tools for reclaiming your mind. Once you start practicing these bottom-up techniques, you create little windows of calm. In these moments, your prefrontal cortex starts to come back online, and you can begin using top-down strategies to strengthen that new wiring. The first is pausing and pacing. A traumatized brain makes everything feel urgent. A powerful act of healing is to give yourself permission to slow down. Especially with decisions, you do not have to decide right now. When you feel that pressure, recognize it for what it is, a trauma response. Take a breath and tell yourself, I have time. I can wait until I'm calm to make this choice. This reclaims your power from the fear response. Next is cultivating self-compassion. If you've been through trauma, the voice in your head is often your own worst critic, full of shame and self-blame. This inner critic just pours fuel on the fire. Self-compassion is the extinguisher. It means talking to yourself with the same kindness you'd give a good friend. When you struggle, instead of, what's wrong with me, you can try, this is really hard. Of course I feel this way after what I've been through. It's okay. This isn't just being nice, it's a neurological intervention that calms your threat response. Another tool is to intentionally focus on the positive. Your brain has a natural bias toward negativity, and trauma cranks that dial way up. To fight this, you have to consciously direct your attention. Neuropsychologist Dr. Rick Hansen suggests taking 15 to 30 seconds to really savor a positive experience, a moment of beauty, a small win, a feeling of gratitude. By doing this, you're literally using neuroplasticity to build and strengthen the neural pathways for joy and safety. You're watering the new, peaceful roads in your brain. The role of professional help. While these tools are powerful, for many people, healing from trauma requires a guide. Working with a trauma-informed therapist isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of incredible strength. It's like hiring an expert mountaineer to guide you through a dangerous mountain range. They know the terrain, they have the right gear, and they provide a safe base camp for you to do the hard work of climbing. Therapies like EMDR, somatic experiencing, and trauma-focused CBT are specifically designed to help the brain process and integrate traumatic memories. EMDR, for example, uses things like eye movements to help the brain reprocess stuck memories, essentially helping that librarian finally file those loose pages away correctly, so you know the event is in the past and you're safe now. These therapies provide a safe container to do the deep rewiring that is incredibly difficult to do alone. Conclusion: so why can't you just get over trauma? Because it's not just a bad memory. It's a biological imprint. It's a rewiring of your brain's alarm system, a disconnect from your rational mind, and a deep disruption in how your past lives inside of you. Your brain did exactly what it was built to do to help you survive. The challenge, and the beautiful opportunity of healing, is to now gently teach it that the threat is over. Healing isn't about forgetting. It's about changing your relationship with what happened. It's about building new neural roads so that when the memory shows up, it no longer triggers that full-body response of terror. Through the power of neuroplasticity, by calming your body from the bottom up and reclaiming your mind from the top down, you can rewire your brain. It's a journey of patience, compassion, and true courage. Thank you for being here and taking this time to understand yourself. If this video helped, please share one thing you're taking away from it in the comments. Reading each other's stories is a powerful reminder that none of us are alone on this path. Healing is possible, and it starts right here with understanding.